Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today is a video. I don't know if it's an older video, but it's been going through the world of TikTok recently, and it's about a black female who decided to up and move to Africa. She said she's moving back to Africa. I don't know, you can go back to somewhere you never been, but sure. She states this because she's tired of the racism in America, but she soon found out that the grass isn't always green on the other side. It's greener where you water it. So yeah, let's check what she has to say.
Go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bullshit bribery, the bullshit fraud, the bullshit scams, the bullshit too expensive, the bullshit not having no snacks, the bullshit not having no
Snacks.
food, the bullshit electricity, the bullshit hot water, the bullshit what's that shit called that be coming down? Bullshit lizards. The bullshit animals. It's scorpions outside the house. It's big ass spiders. It's big ass lizards. Colorful lizards you ain't never seen before. All in the fucking room with you, sleeping with you. All
Sounds like a day in Texas. We get snakes, lizards, all types of other, big ass spiders, tarantulas, stationed in El Paso. So sounds like a regular day in Texas.
the bullshit people trying to scam you when you go outside thinking you rich. So they trying to get more money off of you. I'm really trying to wrap my head around this shit. I'm really trying to wrap my head around how are Americans coming to Africa and being happy. Please comment down below. Because for me, I'm ready to go. And I always used to say, if it's up to me, it will be. And I'm going to go out to Africa and make shit happen. No, I don't want to. I want to take my businesses back to America. I want to open up shop back in America, open up my dentist office, and all the stuff that I was going to do out here in America. Steady electricity. And the only time our electricity get cut off is when we don't pay the bill. And we got it so good now, we got prepaid electricity. So if we forget to pay the bill, we put some money on that
Prepaid
prepaid thing,
electricity.
and it comes right back on in 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes. This shit right here didn't come on for 14 hours yesterday. I can't deal. I love the people. Don't get me wrong. When I'm outside, I'm having fun. I love the people. But when I come back to reality, when you come back home, home is where the heart is, right? When you come back home, you're supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to be happy. I'm not happy. To live in a house where you look outside and all you see is turkeys and ducks and chickens and sheep and old malnourished cows.
It cuts off right there. But sounds like she didn't do her research because, just jump up and just move without doing any research, at least go test it out, see what it's like over there before you make a decision. You know, she's a regular black person apparently that just up and decided to go to Africa. No research. She can't go over to like these celebrities, how they got to, oh, if Donald Trump becomes president, I'm going to pack up and move up, overseas. I'm going to renounce my citizenship, stuff like that, and go become a citizen somewhere else. You're a regular person with regular money. You don't think you just get up and go somewhere and not be able to just live a lavish life? Think about it. Like, you're gonna live amongst the people. Yeah, you have some American money saved up, but think, you can't buy these, exclusive sites away from the public and put more money into your spot to build like an actual mansion or a nicer place to be out of those type of elements that you're talking about. Because you move to a foreign country, there are the animals and all the other types of creatures and stuff over there are going to be different. They're going to be more around, and the weather is going to be much different. The food, access to certain types of foods, like she talking about, snacks, the types of food over there. Think about it. It's not going to be like McDonald's, on every corner like it is here in the States. It's not going to be like a Winn Dixie, Piggly Wiggly, Safeway, Walmart, or Albertsons anywhere. You got to think about it. You're going to their culture. You got to, adapt to how they have food over there. And she talks about, the how the weather is. She talks about how all the animals is coming to her yard. She talks about how people want to come begging for money and asking for money because they think she's rich and she got all this money. Yeah, you're an American. You know, that's how we looked at. You know, oh, it's an American living over there. We can get money off of her. You know, don't think that just because you're there and they say skin folk ain't kinfolk. Just because they're the same color as you are not of that people. That is not your culture. We come from that culture many, many, many centuries ago, but people claim to go back to somewhere you never been. That makes no sense. Just because your ancestors came from there and they've adapted to American way of life, and all the people that came before you adapted and slowly became, fit into that society. America is your culture. That is what you know. You don't. There's no ties to any country that you go to in the continent of Africa. You got to think about that. I've had discussions about this like with many friends, many family members. Would I ever go to Africa? Nope. There's nothing for me over there. It's too hot. Like Jamie Foxx when he did that comedy skit years ago. You know, talking about he got to Africa, the big ass fly landed, boom, right there on top of him. And you're talking about the people that stand next to him. He's like, "What is that smell?" And then the African guy, "Yes, what is that smell?" Jamie Foxx is wearing cologne, and African guys just this regular body odor. It's different. I don't understand why people think they just go over there just because I'm going to flee the country because of racism. Racism is everywhere. May I add, and just because you think it's more black people there, it's more people around me, they're going to try to host you too because they see that you're not from there. And then even if you do come there and try to integrate into that culture, they're always going to know that you as an outsider, you're the foreigner. They can always try to get something from you. I never understood that. Let's see some of the comments here. Only a couple of comments on this particular one. It's like, what's her IG? Nope, too late. You staying. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. Guess you should have zigged when you should have zagged. Nah, you left the States to be free. Be free, baby. Facts, think about it. Like, the grass is greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. If you put more attention to what you're doing or where you are, things won't seem so bad. Like saying that there's not racist people in the States, because it's going to be everywhere. Black, white, Asian, or other, we can all be racist towards one another. But here's another video of another guy, his opinion on what she was talking about.
Black people talking about y'all gonna move on over there to Africa. I used to be over there. I used to do missionary work over there. Go on and move over there. There was a woman going viral who went over to Africa, and she's trying to get back to America, having a hard time, saying how horrible it is. It's 10 times worse over there. I'm telling y'all, I've been over there. Unless you're a rich celebrity and you got money to buy land far off and buy your own island over there. But other than that, if you're a regular average person, you're going to suffer. There's no jobs over there. The jobs don't pay what they pay here. Everybody over there is poor. You got to understand, in these type of countries, 90% of the people are poor. The wealth is you talking about oligarchy over here. No, it's an oligarchy over there. There's only a small percentage of people that are rich, and they all black, right? Most of them. So go on and move over there if you want to and barely be able to eat food, get scammed, and just, unless you're going over there for Jesus, don't go over there.
And that's where the video ends. And he right though, going over there for a limited amount of time to visit, a week, 2 weeks, just to see which part of the continent you want to live in, Ghana, Nigeria, other places. But just to pack up without any research, just go plop somewhere down in Africa. That's, first of all, stupid on your part, because you could just end up anywhere. You could have been in one of the worst parts of Africa. And then what? Then once you get there, then it's going to be a process to get back. But in the meantime, you're doing all this, you have to suffer, going over there and living over there. Like, I've been to many countries in my lifetime because of the military. And some countries are cool, like Korea. I loved Korea, loved Panama, loved Germany. Did a stint down in Honduras. That was pretty cool too. But would I want to live there? Probably not, because there's certain things, although they do have certain things that America does have. Like, I remember in Korea, we had the Korean Outback Steakhouse, and in Panama and Honduras, there's like KFC, Pizza Hut. And they got like all the top, the fast food chains, but quality food that's homegrown here, like a mom and pop shop, they don't have that. They don't have like the Safeways and other stuff like that, So why would you go somewhere you've never been? I never understood that. But let's see what these comments say from this guy. Here we go. I'm not going anywhere. This is my country. Exactly. This is all I know. This is all I care to know. You know, going to other places outside of America, yeah, cool to visit, but to stay, I'm fine here. I like the stuff here. I'm comfortable with it. I know where the racism is. You know, even if it's overt, covert, whatever. I know which ones are, and I'd rather see it, overt than someone who's just trying to hide it. Although that does happen. Uh, that's the vision you want to see. Haven't heard black people want to move to Africa, but you putting it out there anyway. Yeah, there is no place like us. Mercy. You know, you just coming up with this shit just to say on TikTok because you just TikTok groupie. Ain't nobody moving to Africa. Africa is moving to America to replace us so we dominant race on this place. Think about it. Like I said, yeah, they're kinfolk from a long time ago. But even Africans come over here, they have issues with a lot of black Americans. Black Americans want to say, oh, we're the same. Africans, actually come over here. The actual African Americans, we're not the same. They don't see, black people here talk about racism. Black, Africans, they come over here and they're like, I don't really see what you're talking about. You guys had all this time to, be up and moving and become something on yourselves. But, you see these Africans come over here within 3-4 years of getting here. They become doctors, dentists, lawyers, chemical engineers, all of that. And then they look at, why did you guys do this? Yes, there's going to be some type of suffering, growing pains, but, you still have the opportunity to build because you're from here. You speak the language. But I don't know. But that's my thoughts. That's my opinions about it. Let me know your thoughts, opinions in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get you back with the next video. Peace.